Gunshot survivors of Reddit, what does it feel like to get shot? I took a 7.62 to the stomach in Afghanistan. Felt like somebody had smacked with like, I dunno, a fly swatter or something. A short sharp smack. Didn't feel much until I tried to come out of cover and I just couldn't. Couldn't make my body listen to me. Then the pin hit. I'd put it at like, I dunno, on November 10th. Bullet blew off half my liver. Chest, .357 Magnum, through sternum, lung, ricochet off of rib, through scapula. Still have half under my should blade. Felt like I was stabbed in the chest with a hot fire poker mounted to the bottom of someone's foot when they drop kicked me. Was not expected to survive, severe blood loss, of course. Very good EMS team kept the liquids where they were supposed to and great doctors and nurses kept me going. I didn't really feel either of mine until about 10 minutes later. Took a grazing shot off my left arm and one in the right hip that went out my back, thankfully missing my kidney. The arm felt like a bee sting, the hip knocked me back a step, the adrenaline at the time masked the pain. I worked with a doctor who was telling us about getting shot in the finger in a Panamanian conflict when he was a ranger. He said it was hands down the most pain he's ever been in and it just got the tip of his finger. It's funny, I figured since I was missing half my liver I would get drunk faster. Nope. I just stay drunker for longer. Waking up drunk is not a good feeling. I have to be way more aware of the toxins and everything I put in myself, because I can't process it out of me, otherwise. Between that and the 2 IEDs I rolled over in Kandahar, the army considers me 90% disabled. My partner likes to joke that I have tapioca brain, and that if I move my head too fast she can see the pudding coming out your ears. I don't sleep too well, I'm afraid of fireworks. I hate being touched by anyone that isn't my partner, my sister, or a longtime friend. I drink too much. I have terrible nightmares of my guts spilling out on the ground, and whatever I try I can't get them back in. Don't join the army, kids. Join the Coast Guard or Air Force. Humping a mortar around is a good way to fuck yourself up, and when you get out there ain't shit for you but a bottle and a bullet. Immediate edit, some spelling. Got half a bottle of bourbon in me. The guy got away before anyone got to me, my parents were out of town, and like I said my brother was at a friend's house. Luckily a neighbor called 911 within minutes of it happening and I was taken to the It was during the ambulance ride that the pain really hit me, a sharp, hot pain took over me, every bump feeling like each spot was getting punched over and over again. Before they started operating to remove the 3 rounds still in my abdomen it felt my guts were being torn out of me by hand. From there I don't remember the next 5 days of my life, I fell into a short coma due to the pain. I was hooked up to more tubes than I could count when I woke up, giving me fluids, pain meds, antibiotics, sucking out stomach bile and other fluids to keep my digestive tract clear to heal. All there was pain-wise was a very dull pain everywhere, it hurt the most to breathe, each breath feeling like an intense pressure on my gut. From here my memory is still hazy due to the amount of pain meds I was on to keep me calm. 13 years ago at age 14 I was shot by a home intruder 5 times with a .38 revolver. 3 rounds hit my abdomen, 1 hit my left forearm, and the final hit my left thigh. I was woke up by commotion in the living room, I thought it was my sibling getting home late from a friend's house, so I went to get water in the kitchen. That's when the guy saw me, panicked, and proceeded to dump the entire cylinder of his revolver into me from 10 feet away. At first it felt like someone jabbing me with a hot poker. The most painful one actually being my arm right away. The ones to my leg and stomach starting to hurt far more after maybe a minute or 2, not sure since the event felt like it took an hour from start to finish. My sense of time when it comes to remembering the shooting is very distorted to this day by what happened. If you read this far, thanks for reading, and stay safe my friends, edit. I'm not one to usually share what's happened in my life with others. Typing this out, I never thought I would see such an outpour of love and support from everyone. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. Each day we're here together on this earth with each other is a blessing. Y'all making this grown man tear up. During the healing process we found out I had developed Crohn's disease, which the doctors figure was lying dormant my entire life, and only flared up due to the extreme stress my body went through in a short period. This caused my abdomen area to heal improperly, causing me to go through a long drawn-out ordeal with the disease before finally having to end up with a permanent colostomy setup. 13 years later, it's my reminder of what happened that night, why I now sleep with a handgun near me. Wake up with night terrors of the event, and sometimes get scared if there's a noise in the middle of the night. The person who shot me was never caught as far as I know, and in the end nothing was even stolen from my parents' house. To this day, I'm glad no one was home. I'm not sure I could live with a reality where one of my family was shot instead of me that night, or them having to find me after it had happened. Right thigh, 9. Grazing shot across the front of the leg about 4 inches above the knee. It plowed a channel of skin and some flesh off the front. It felt searing hot, like someone had laid a hot piece of metal on my leg for a second. Then, the pain went away for a while until the adrenaline wore off. It honestly hurt worse 6 hours later than it did when it happened. I got shot in the ankle when I was 10. Honestly, I thought a rock hit me. Just a slight stinging feeling. Didn't really hurt. I even kept running with my bike. Later at the hospital was a different story. The doctor tried to remove the bullet without putting me under. He said the pain medicine would make me forget everything. He gave up after a few minutes of hell. And, whatever he gave me didn't work as described, but it did oddly make everyone look purple from what I remember. So maybe it half worked? I was shot with a .22 in the back. The initial shot hit my vertebrae and paralyzed me from the waist down. I literally just stiff-legged and fell backwards. I then felt a hot wave run down my back and to my butt. Then the searing pain set in. It was excruciating and literally screamed and swore the whole time. When someone asks the level of pain I was in, I tell them to think of the worst pain they've experienced and times that by 100. The pain and realization that I couldn't move my legs was just heartbreaking, and I just wanted out. 3 years later and lots of intense physical therapy, I have gained a lot of movement and function back. I can walk with the aid of AFOs and crutches, but still need a wheelchair at home and for long distances. Edit, to those asking why or how I was shot. I was on private property shooting with friends. We stopped shooting and I went downrange to change something. My friend decided that was the time to try and unload his .22 revolver, and as he pointed it downrange he somehow pulled the trigger and shot me. I don't know what possessed him to do that, as even if the gun was loaded nothing would happen if you don't touch the gun, but he did. Being in the middle of nowhere, it took about a half hour for an ambulance to come. Then a life flight to the nearest hospital. I'm lucky the bullet hit the vertebrae as it stopped it from going into organs and bleeding out. Oddly enough, there wasn't much blood and wound management was very minimal, and yes, he is still my friend. I forgave him and he definitely has suffered mentally for it, and he doesn't deserve more pain either.